Just gonna go like straight into it. I'm still a bit hungover. Hello crawlers, welcome to another route. This time we are going around Liverpool and we are going to follow my route, which you can find in Historic Pub Crawls Through England, which you can get in most bookshops. And we are going to go past Liverpool's two famous cathedrals. We have on our route 11 different pubs. So we're straight off the train from London at Lime Street Station. And then we are going to head to our first pub, which is literally just here right in front of the station. We will take in some of the most famous, most requested pubs in Liverpool for our channels, such as the Crown Hotel, the Vines, which has been asked for a lot, and the Philharmonic Dining Rooms, which I am told is the most beautiful pub in the world. And whilst I don't normally film them, the toilets are supposed to be magical as well. So we're going to make sure that we do that. We'll wind our way around past like Ye Cracke and the Grapes, head out to Peter Kavanagh's, and then we're going to end up in what they call Brewery Village, which is where the Cain's Brewery used to be, and it's now got a bunch of tap rooms in there. It is a Tuesday, so stuff is opening a little bit later, and also there might be one or two along the way that might be closed when we get to them. So what you see might look a little bit weird because we're going to sort of juggle around the different pubs, but we'll make sure that we cover as many of them as we can. Let's just have a quick look. I'll just show you where we are, right? Because we've just come straight out of the station, and this is one of the most famous landmarks. If you've seen a football team do an open top parade, well, I say the football team, obviously Liverpool, Everton haven't done one for a while, and that will all kind of go down here. I think this was one of the first buildings to be purpose-built to have air conditioning, which is a pointless fact. Like we saw so we filmed yesterday, and like we saw yesterday, and like we're going to see today, Liverpool is full of these old buildings or distinctive sites. That we've got the Radio City Tower here as well. And even just this little kind of building on the corner, it looks like an old cinema. You know, it's gorgeous old design there. And you might just spot through the trees, first pub, Crown Hotel. Let's go and get ourselves a pint.
You won't believe the competition for the most beautiful pub in the country.
The Crown Hotel. It's pub number 1 on our Liverpool Cathedrals route. Let's go and get a pint.
To get a load of this, because in any other city, this would be their most beautiful. And it was part of a series of pubs that were constructed in the early 1900s with an Art Nouveau style that was likely born out of a competition to be the best looking in the area. And inside the pub, it retains many of its original features, including ornate plasterwork ceilings, within which you might be lucky to spot one of the 6 cigars that were hidden and painted within it. But back to the bar, and they kindly poured me a pint of Landlord, and I sat in the ornate back room where these service bells are the equivalent of today's order at the table apps. Now, there's a lot more to see in this pub, and I took a stroll up the stairs underneath this magnificent skylight to the top bar where the original windows overlook the busy Lime Street station. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Okay, we're standing on a busy corner in the city of Liverpool. We've got the gorgeous Vines behind us. This video is coming up shortly. I just wanted to share a couple of things. If we have a look here, Ben, look, this is the Adelphi Hotel. Now, I suppose given a location to the train station, this would have been one of the kind of grey railway hotels that you would have. Obviously in London, we've got the Renaissance Hotel next to King's Cross. I can't remember the name of the one in Manchester. It was the one that Hitler wanted to take over for the HQ. But then this one here used to have a bizarre speciality that made it famous, because it used to serve turtle soup. And legend has it that in the basement of the hotel, there were like hot water tanks where they would keep live turtles and look after live turtles for their speciality, turtle soup. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. And next up is the Vines.
That's it. I've found the world's most beautiful pub.
The Vines. It's pub number 2 on our Liverpool Cathedral route. Let's go and get a pint.
Nicknamed the Big House, you'd be forgiven for walking through the front door into this corner bar and despite its high ceiling, feeling a little underwhelmed because the decor is certainly gorgeous and is an Edwardian masterpiece built on the site of Albert B. Vines's 1867 pub, but the dark panelled vintage theme with its animal heads doesn't really feel as flamboyant as I was promised. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And I grabbed myself a Waterfall Dawn from Neptune Brewery before heading down the corridor to the mind-melting back room that is the star of this show. Now, it's one of the elaborate pubs constructed in the area in the style of local brewer Robert Cain and architect Walter Thomas in a race to create the city's most beautiful. And it's under this massive skylight that this glorious venue really comes to life. It really is like no other pub I've ever been to. So let's just take a second to revel in its glory. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
There's some creative parking going here in the front entrance of what is Grand Central, which is a live music venue. Now, it used to be like a church mission, I guess some sort of church. Look, you've got the live bird on there. It's a beautiful looking building. And if you just come a little bit, just so you don't get all these, so you see the cathedral, you'll spot the cathedral through here. Ultimately, we're going to wind our way past that. We're going to walk through the grounds of the cathedral. But we're going to pop along to Roscoe's Head, which is next. I've been recommended that. That's won number of Pub of the Year awards with camera. So just up here, and then we're going to go actually further out past the other cathedral, but we'll show you that in a bit. So let's get ourselves to Roscoe's Head and get ourselves a pint.
If you love an old boozer, this is one of the best.
Roscoe Head. It's pub number 3 on our Liverpool Cathedral route. Let's go and get a pint.
First, we've got to get there. Past St. Luke's bombed-out church still stands proud despite being almost completely destroyed during World War II. Now, this classic old-school boozer is one of Liverpool's oldest pubs, having opened in 1830. And it's the only one in the north of England to have appeared in every edition of Camera's Good Beer Guide. So, of course, I was going to take advantage of that with a flight of beers, starting with the Jarl, which is the champion beer of Scotland, before adding a Landlord as they're a champion club member, and finishing with the Sup from Peerless, who are based in Birkenhead. And it's easy to see why. This cosy pub was one of the ones I was most recommended, and you've got to get here early to see it this quiet and without a host of locals propping up the bar. Who cares where you're from when this is the destination?
Well, great pub so far, but one of the great things about following these routes is you get to see some fantastic sights and also some that are a little bit more unusual. This is actually the manuscript for my book, Historic Pub Crawls Through England, which, as at the time of filming, is currently on pre-order. So hopefully, by the time you see this, you'll be able to pick it up in the shops. But it's full of useful things like this, which is easy to walk past. So if we see this pyramid here, this is William McKenzie's tomb. Now, he was a leading civil engineer in the sort of mid-19th century. And there's a lot of rumours as to why this tomb is shaped like this. So for the spiritual among us, it's believed that that it's a portal to the spirit world. It is also there's also possibly access to tunnels which like honeycomb go all the way through the city, which was used for smugglers. Again, no evidence of that. And then the final thing, which is a little bit more sinister, is that he did a deal with the devil over a game of poker in exchange for the power and the wealth that he enjoyed during his life. And to further add fuel to that myth, that rumour, it's said that his body is buried, seated at a table, still holding a poker hand, so that the game never officially finishes and the devil can't come to claim his soul. Don't know about you, but we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. And the next one up is the pen factory. But first we're going to have a look at the cathedral. Let's go and do that. Well, we said we were going to go to the next pub, but the route kind of takes us to the end of the road, and then, you know, the pub's just back there, we're going to walk to it. But we thought, because this amazing structure is at the end of the road, we just walk a couple of 100 meters and come and have a look at it. And this is the first of the 2 Liverpool cathedrals that we're going to see today. And this is a Metropolitan cathedral, which, as you can see, when you think about the word cathedral and what you expect it to look like, it's usually something old and Gothic. It's nothing like this. And that's because this is pretty modern by modern standards, by cathedral standards, I suppose, whatever. You know what I mean. And it was built because in the 19th century, a lot of the Irish Catholics came over to Liverpool because it's so close. I mean, these days it's even closer. It's like a 20-minute flight. It costs you about 15 quid on Ryanair. But, so the demand was there for cathedrals, and this was supposed to be much bigger. I think this was actually supposed to be the biggest cathedral in the world. And they built it around about the 1930s. But what happened around about the 1930s that probably made it harder to invest a lot of money in building a second cathedral for the city? Of course, the war happened, and so there was a lot of change that was made to this, but it's still an incredibly unique structure. The guy that actually designed it, by the way, maybe took a few shortcuts, or at least left it in a position where ultimately he was sued by, I suppose it would be like the diocese of cathedrals, because it was so structurally unsound, it cost an absolute fortune to keep this thing standing up. Thankfully, we don't have that problem today. We're not going to linger anymore at this point. We're going to head over and we're going to go to the pen factory, which is the next pub. It's a pretty new one, should be quite interesting. Let's go and see what it's like and go and grab a beer in there.
What better use to turn this old factory into a pub?
It's the pen factory. It's pub number 4 on our Liverpool Cathedral route. Let's go and get ourselves a pint.
Absolutely.
Come on in. Let's go.
Now, I nearly missed filming the intro due to some huge lorry pumping outside. But how could we miss this lively venue that is built in the basement of the last factory to make 18-karat gold pen nibs? And it would have been unusual at the time because this isn't an industrial area, so it would have stood alone next to the cathedral and some prime real estate. At the entrance is a sturdy metal door behind which the gold was stored, and outside is a wonderful secluded beer garden. But back to the bar, and I grabbed a pint of 3 Swords from Kirkstall Brewery before it was time to head out and off to the next one.
But we are on a Liverpool route. We're cathedral to cathedral, and look at this. The cathedrals have started to have the, what do you call it?
Mist,
The
fog.
The scouse mist.
Scouse mist.
The scouse mist is covering the top.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not a ominous sign for some bad weather for us, because
It's gonna be dry.
it's going to be dry. It's going to stay dry.
It's gonna be nice and misty.
The
And watch your
ground's
feet,
wet.
'cause
The ground's wet, but a lot of people said to me that we absolutely had to film at the big house, the Vines, because that's one of the most beautiful pubs in the world. A lot of that came from when I filmed the Warrington, the famous Warrington in Maida Vale, which I think is one of the most beautiful pubs in the world. But this one that we're going to now is almost universally acclaimed as being the most gorgeous pub on the planet.
And gorgeous toilets as well.
Right. And so we don't normally film in gents' toilets, but we are going to do that.
Exception.
We'll make an exception today. And they are expecting us. I mean, look, look at the size of this place. So, yeah, I can't wait to go and explore this and share it with you. We're going to roll the video.
This is the most beautiful pub outside of London.
It's the Philharmonic. It's pub number 5 on our Liverpool Cathedral route. And it's supposed to be the most beautiful pub on the planet.
often regarded as the most ornate pub in England, the exterior is constructed in ashlar stone with elaborate architraves and sculptures of musical instruments and musicians. And inside it's spread over 5 floors with rooms decorated in a musical theme, as it has hosted the likes of Buddy Holly and Paul McCartney, with it even rumoured to be John Lennon's favourite pub. You're greeted by the bar as you walk in, but the downstairs is separated into a quiet private room at the side and 2 lounges that almost feel like you're in somebody's house. But back to the bar, and being a Nicholson's, I grabbed a pint of their own, with Cam grabbing a Dark Star and joining me in the sitting room. But of course there's much more to see, because whilst you might think that the star of the show is the spectacular Grand Lounge with its high ceiling, huge chandeliers and stained glass skylights, what makes it most famous is the extravagant gents' toilets that showcase pink marble basins with matching urinals. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
It's
Not
fine.
missed- not missed
That
deals.
was just as spectacular as I thought it would be. Just opposite the Philharmonic Dining Rooms is the Philharmonic Hall, which looks incredibly different from what we've just seen. This is a lot more modern. I think this was built, it was like 1930s, 1939 this was built after the original hall was destroyed in fires. But I've had to drag Cam back because he was heading off already. He was charging forward to the Cracke. He's keen to get the next place in, the next pint. So that's where we're going to head now.
You
Let's
said
go.
pint, so I thought,
Yeah,
let's
I
go.
said pint, you said let's go.
So we're off to Ye Cracke, which is one of the oldest pubs in Liverpool. And it's also when John Lennon started his first band before the Beatles. They were called the Dissenters, I believe.
Okay.
So it was a great meeting point for a lot of musicians and a lot of artists in the city. And it's also got a lovely beer garden, another lovely secluded one as well.
Just
Loads
like
of
every
history.
single pub, surprise, surprise, every pub in Liverpool has got something to do with the Beatles.
Ever wondered how the Beatles got their name? Let's find out over a pint.
This is the Ye Cracke, pub number 6 on our Cathedral route here in Liverpool. Can we get a pint?
Yes.
Come on.
Go.
Go side entrance.
Side gate.
Opening in 1825, this pub gets its name from the Liverpudlian slang for an alleyway, which is fairly apt given its location on a narrow offshoot of Hope Street. And this proper old boozer is thought to be the location where locals made plans during the Boer War. But that's not why it's famous, as it was once the local for John Lennon and his first wife Cynthia. And it was also the place where Stuart Sutcliffe, who was the original bassist for the Beatles, would help Lennon create the band's name after taking inspiration from Buddy Holly's Crickets. And Sutcliffe is one of just a handful of people like George Martin, Brian Epstein and Neil Aspinall who are often referred to as the fifth Beatle, although he unfortunately died from a brain hemorrhage in Hamburg, Germany, aged just 21. But back to the bar, and with a great selection of ales on tap, Cam and I went for a Fab 4 from the local Rock the Boat Brewery. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss. Is it any surprise this pub's haunted when this is what overlooks it?
It's the Grapes. It's pub number 7 on our Liverpool Cathedral route. Let's go and get a pint.
Yes, sir.
One of the most popular in the city, this 200-year-old pub used to be known as the Little Grapes before the name change after a major refurbishment. Now, I can't blame them for not wanting to advertise the fact that their grapes are little, but this delightful pub is tucked in the shaded Georgian side streets just off the beaten track. Now, they claim that there's been a pub here since the 1700s, with bar staff hearing people walking up and down, banging doors, or tapping on windows. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And Cam and I went for a pint of Our Little Hideaway and Adagio before escaping the brightly coloured walls and heading upstairs to a sheltered outdoor terraced area. Now, we could have stayed all day to sample their extensive beer list, but instead we were out past Liverpool Cathedral, which is the largest religious building in the UK and the longest one in the world. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Okay, so we've just finished up at the Grapes. We're going to wander our way over to Peter Kavanagh's now, which is a really requested pub. But first, we're going to walk past this wonderful cathedral, which is shrouded in scouse clouds.
Yeah.
And our mics are dying at like after 7 pubs. So Cam's already told me that we're going old school and going finger style, which sounds like depends. But this is a really, because obviously the other cathedral is really striking for a number of reasons, mostly because it's so modern and looks so out of touch in what we're normally expecting from a cathedral. Correct. And this is also a bit, because I think of cathedrals like Salisbury or like Lichfield, like the really old kind of Gothic, loads of like gargoyles. This is pretty plain. Do you know anything about it?
It's the largest cathedral in this country, as a matter of fact, and 4th largest brick cathedral in Europe. And they took over 100 years to build this whole thing because they just kept adding and adding. And obviously, I don't think you can see the top because it's quite misty. Maybe just about.
Yeah,
and
can you see that, Ben?
There's a viewing platform at the very top. You have to take 2 elevators and a really sketchy staircase to get to the top. And I did that a couple of times. And it was one of those, crawling against the wall, not looking down because it was frightening. However, it is magnificent. They have all sorts of events in there, like candlelight concerts. There was a rave there not long ago. And fun fact, I think Liverpool Football Club had the Christmas do in there and they got shut down because there was a lot of...
It is. We're not going to put that onto YouTube, what they were up to. But, there was definitely something going on in there. Yeah. I think that it was supposed to have like 4 of these towers originally, and then it was changed to like 3 and then 2. It's another one, a bit like the same with the other cathedral. It's a little bit checkered, that history. Yes. Where it just seems to have cost a lot of money, taken a long time, and it's closed up. We can't go in there now. Look, it's all closed up. Closes at 4. So we will go to our own special meeting place.
Yeah, we'll go through the James's Gardens now. Ooh,
and then
spooky.
we'll go to the pub.
Be careful, it's very slippery when it's wet.
Okay, yeah, don't.
The tunnel is also...
It's quite slippy, actually,
The tunnel is, as you can see, you have all these sort of stones around you. And the tunnel is...
This is really slippy and dodgy.
That big old rock.
How are you doing, Ben? You're not about to fall over, are you? I'm so stilted, like walking out.
You gotta be careful. And we also have palm trees growing on the other side. There you go.
Okay, well, we survived the walk, but before one of us falls over, we'll cut and then we'll go to the next pub.
Say hi to the UK's most charismatic landlady.
This is Peter Kavanagh's. It's pub number 8 on our Liverpool Cathedral route.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's get a pint. Come on.
Now, this Liverpool icon is a previous winner of Camera's Pub of the Year, and it was originally built in 1844. But despite being known as the Liver Hotel and Peter's Hotel over the years, it's only ever been a pub which was renamed in 1978 to honour Peter Kavanagh, who held the licence between 1897 to 1950. And whilst it's his name over the door, it's the landlady of the last 30 years, Rita's name, that greets you on the doorstep with a small corridor that leads to the bar. At the heart of this building, it almost feels like the rooms, which are chock-a-block full of memorabilia and bric-a-brac, are just part of someone's house. Even if the walls are adorned with murals by Scottish painter Eric Robinson that were added for the 1929 refit and are based on scenes from the Pickwick Papers and William Hogarth by Charles Dickens. But where there's a bar, there's a beer, and it was a pint of Darwin's Origin and a white rat before we sat down to soak up this atmosphere. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
That into there's a spillage.
No. No. You want to listen to me?
Yeah. Will you listen to Rita for crying out loud?
Just shut up.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
You were made for boats, and when the boat was rocking, and you spilt your beer or whatever it was, it would go into the gully. Yeah. The gully would go down into there, go into a bowl.
Right.
Where, when you wanted the bowl emptied, you undone the table, you lifted the lid up, you took the bowl out, you emptied it, put it back in, and locked the table down again.
Oh, amazing.
They're called twist lock tables.
Twist lock
These are Peter Kavanagh's own invention. He had them made.
Really?
But these are Peter Kavanagh's. He was a very clever man when it comes to inventions. He done quite a bit. He done bottle openers.
Right.
I've not seen them. I've seen them in the book. I've got a book.
Yeah.
We've done a book on the pub. Also on the transport. He was the man who done when trams years ago. You're all a little bit young to see what I'm talking about. But
No,
anyway,
I've seen a tram.
trams used to have there used to be an on entrance and an off entrance. Well,
Okay, yeah.
when they used to go down the pier head to go on the turntable to turn them around to come back up the other direction. Didn't have to do that with Peter Kavanagh. But Peter Kavanagh done the seats that went backwards and forwards. So when they got down, they flip all the seats back, so all the seats in the right direction to come back again. There was a tram made. They did ask the council at one time here. They put the plans forward for that, but they reckoned it was too expensive. So it was actually got made in Leeds. So in Leeds, there was a tram called the Kavanagh tram.
Wow.
And is that for the railway and the tram system that was down by the dock rail? Because Liverpool.
The overhead railway?
Yeah.
No, that's
a different separate
This is
thing.
going through the streets.
Oh, right, okay.
This is on the streets, that's not on the overhead. They should have kept that overhead railway.
I thought it would have been.
That would have been an amazing attraction
It
right
would have
now.
been great now because it's sort of
Absolutely.
like Chicago and
Well,
sort
it
of
was
New York.
packaged and parts of the city. It was to do with goods.
Yeah.
It was to do with dockers going to the docks. There was 13 miles of docks.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
all to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
why
mean-
they got rid of that? I
And
really
was
thought.
it the 50s? I
They
think
reckon it was too expensive to redo.
Yeah.
Well,
some
even
of the-
if you get rid of it though, like in New York, I love the High Line in New York,
Yeah.
where they basically they turned it into a garden, right?
Walking garden.
It's a
Yes.
walking garden. Like
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. The High Line's amazing.
But
And it's really cold, wind coming off the Hudson, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous when you get things like that of historic interest. I mean, that's that right through the wall, you know.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
never mind, that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. And
opinion.
Liverpool's been really regenerated, hasn't it? The docks,
yeah.
it was fantastic to walk along the docks last night. And I love that there's some really old buildings there.
But
But
they're
then-
taking away the, what's it called? Oh, what's it?
World Heritage Status?
Yeah, the World Heritage. They took
Well,
the World
it's
Heritage
gone. We don't have it
away
anymore.
from us, didn't he? Because they
Too
said
many
the
modern
new
buildings.
buildings, too many modern buildings have stopped the World Heritage sites. I think they've taken it off us.
Yeah. Last year.
Yeah, it's fine.
We can just record like a bit of nondescript chit chat
Oh, yeah.
that doesn't involve any of our dating stories because
Excellent.
dating stories are not what we're going to cover. on this.
let's not get out there.
No.
However, what we will get out there is we had a lovely time at Peter Kavanagh's and a chat with Rita, amazing. She's got some stories to tell, and one day there will be a documentary Netflix style series about her life. And,
Yeah, I would say the thing that I thought was that made me laugh out loud was when I said that the thing that I hate about pubs, one of the things I'd ban from pubs is cocktails, and Rita says. She says, we once had someone come in here and ask for a lager and lime. I said, no chance, I don't do cocktails. This place we're coming to now, we're not going to be able to go in because, you know, we're always here to show the places, not the people. But that does mean that sometimes we turn up when places are quiet, or in this case, they're closed. And so we're actually trying to find ourselves. We're in the heart of what they call kind of Brewery Village. We're going to wind our way through. This is where Cain's were like the big brewer in the area. They built most of the pubs. Most of the pubs that we see, like that's their style of architecture. And so there's lots of tap rooms. There's lots of places down here. The one that you see in the book, the one that's on the route that we would love to go to, it's called the Yellow Submarine, and it is a bar in a submarine. It's the submarine that was used, I don't know if you know this, it was the submarine that was used in the Hunt for Red October. With where Sean Connery did possibly the worst Russian accent ever in a film. But look, we got all these different tap rooms here. Again, look, it's all closed up, right? Because this is
actually closed.
that's closed for good. Okay.
This one is, I'm not so sure actually because this is still January. It is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So This doesn't open till Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I think Wednesday only. There's only a couple of places that are open all week long, just like
Okay.
Box Park.
So if you're following the routes in the book, and it does say this in the book, the thing to bear in mind is if you're heading down to here, if you're turning up on a Monday or Tuesday, it's a bit like this. Like, it's a dry January. It's wet. It's miserable. Most of the stuff is closed. But we're going to have a look at the Yellow Submarine now.
Here, when the area is fully open, it beams with life, and there's thousands of people coming here, especially at the weekends, because the variety of places. You have a container village, you have an old warehouse,
Yes.
and then the old brewery that has been converted to several little bars, and the world famous Yellow Submarine.
There you go, and that's why we have this place in the book. It's a great place to end the route. There's loads of choice, loads of places to go to. This looks really cool inside it. I'm disappointed we can't show it today. Next, it's just an excuse for me to have to come back up to Liverpool on a day where it's a bit busier.
Maybe summertime as well, a bit warmer.
This place would be heaving. Like you can tell, like this place is heaving when the sun's shining. One of the ones that we're going to go to, the Brewery tap, is closed, but it's also run by the last pub that we're going to, which is Tarmey's, which is quite a famous Irish pub. It's pretty lively, just around the corner. So we're going to head down there now, and probably what we'll cut to in a minute will be the Brewery tap, because we'll go there and it'll be closed, but we're going to get some access so we can at least show you what that looks like. And then after that, we will head to Tarmey's.
Yes.
That's the last one of the day.
Let's get to the heart of Liverpool's Brewery Village.
It's the Brewery tap. It's pub number 10 on our Liverpool Cathedral route. Now, we know it's closed, but they're going to let us in and have a special look. But we're also going to go next door to Tarmey's, which is the final pub on our Liverpool Cathedrals route.
Not big.
Oh, now I'm short again. Let's go.
But first we've got to get there. And this brewery village was founded by Robert Cain in 1858 after he began brewing at just 24 years old. And whilst it was closed today, the brewery tap in this terracotta building was the first of many, with its impressive wood bar and ornate seating throughout. Now, whilst it was quiet on a rainy Tuesday, at the weekend these places are popping, with the main event being Tarmey's, which is Liverpool's largest Irish pub and gets its name from the owner's bare-knuckle fighting great-grandfather. But back to the bar, and it would be rude not to end this trip with 2 pints of Guinness. It can be easy to miss the looking glass covers over the wells that reach down into the underground lake onto which the brewery is built and received its main water supply. And since it's the last one of the day, I guess we'll stick here and get some more beer.
Yeah, you drink, I talk. We're at Tarmey's now, pub number 11. It's the final pub. It's a lot more civilised than the last route, the other route that we filmed. Yeah. That was finishing a lot later. We're going to be a bit more sensible. We're going to get the train back to London, proving that you can actually come up to Liverpool from London for a couple of hours. You can do a day trip. You can. And you can still smash 12 pubs if you really wanted to.
Absolutely.
Although we'll probably sleep on the train on the way back. Now, that was a good list of pubs. I was pleased because, I know the pubs, I've been to the pubs, but the whole point of doing this route was obviously either the book is coming out or it is out, depending on when you watch this video. And so we wanted to revisit the pubs and share them with you so you can see exactly the places that we feature in Historic Pub Crawls through England. Cam, Beer Guide Worldwide, has been an amazing host. Thank you so much. I've loved your company, mate. It's been so much fun. You were a really bad influence on yesterday's pub crawl. We'll try not to be doing like a 15-minute ramble at the end of this whilst
But I do have to say that, it's been amazing to go around Liverpool and a lot of the places that I frequent quite a bit, but kind of see it from a different angle as well, with a different set of eyes and of your view on the whole situation. So, for everybody who's watching and is coming to Liverpool with his book in your hand, you can always also message me, and I'll be happy to meet up for a beer and be there at those pubs and relive the glory days.
Yeah, that is a fantastic offer. And that's normally what we do. So normally, we're walking around with one of my books and we're following the routes. Cam's got a couple of signed copies of the books.
Thank you.
That's London 1 and 2. When we filmed this, we haven't actually got the book in the shops yet and published, so I'm still working on the original manuscript here. I love the old pubs like Roscoe Head and Cracke. Like I love like the no music, little old boozer, like proper gritty little pubs. But at the same time, I've got to say, like the Vines and the Phil, like they were every
Glamorous
bit
old-
as spectacular as I thought they were going to be. Like out of this, what's been your highlights?
Well, just because I've been to a lot of these pubs several times, some of them I go to quite regularly. So like the Vines would be one of my go-tos, you know. Just not only because it's a spectacular place and it looks great and they'll have a fireplace and they also show football and stuff, but just to sit in quietly in a corner and have a beer, it's amazing. But I think of today's list, I think Peter Kavanagh's would probably have to be out there, only because it's a rare treat for us to meet the lady who ran the pub for over 30 years, and she made it for what it is, and she bars cocktails such as lager and lime. You know, the simplicity of it, and you know, the kind heartness of it, and then she's obviously got stories for days.
Rita was pretty amazing, wasn't
So
she?
yeah, that's definitely one of those that I most likely will be back next week just to see what it's like. And obviously we're doing this in January, so it's kind of a different feel about a lot of these places. You know what I mean? And it's a Tuesday as well. So when you do come to Liverpool, you see pubs in a different time of year, maybe different time of the week as well. And you see a difference from the videos of being nice and quiet and chilled. And then they'll be quite lively with other things that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we were quite lively last night, but, you know, we always like to show the places, not the people, because, you know, a good pub is always going to be busy. So we really kind of go out of our way to show places where they are quite like this. I mean, this place we'll have a couple of thousand people in it,
easily,
and,
yeah.
you know, 30 people behind the bar on a Friday and Saturday night. But you're never going to see, you know, a lot of the sites. You're never going to see the well that goes to the lake underneath the brewery.
No queues for toilet, no queues for pub.
Yeah.
You can go and explore.
Yeah. I mean, what a great list of pubs. Great list of pubs on the other route. It's been really 2 absolutely blinding days.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't thank you enough for showing us around, Cam.
Anytime.
Cheers.
And for all of you watching out there, cheers from Liverpool.
Yeah, Scouse. Buy the books. Check out the other channels as well on Insta, TikTok. We're all over the internet. Historic pub crawls everywhere. Big Guide Worldwide. What a collab. What a couple of days.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Cheers.
That'll be a good way to end the video.
Yes, indeed.
Cheers.